Welcome to Running on Reddit. African proverb says, the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel the warmth. What time in your life have you been closest to starting the fire? I had a co-worker at a non-commission based retail job where a co-worker would repeatedly sabotage my sales so she could get a lot of credit apps and a high GSP, average hour sales. She would overhear my pitch for cards, required, and then lie to the customer so they would apply. I would have to try and rectify what she said while she hovered over me. She did many other questionable things and I reported her multiple times, as did my co-workers and customers. Now, one time I got lucky and an 18-year-old kid came in to buy the most expensive desktop we have on display. $2,500. She saw me do this sale, but I needed a manager to approve a tiny discount, but my radio was dead. Co-worker was watching me the entire time, so I asked if she'd call for the manager. She stone cold ignores me. I go for the manager. She prints out paperwork on the computer and tries to sell it to him. When I return, she literally yells at me in front of the customer to give her the sale because she worked too. I ignored her and didn't give her the sale. When I reported this, as did the customer, he was mortified. I was literally told by my boss, ignore when she does that. She's a middle child, so she does stuff like that. I was tired of the stupid lack of action, so I filed an HR complaint regarding her and 5 of my managers for not addressing it. They all got reamed for it. Only one is still in a management position. The rest were eventually demoted or laid off. Good on you. We need more satisfying ending stories in this thread. Out of curiosity, what was her commission percent? I wonder how much money it takes to get someone to act so shoddy. I'm a middle child and I'm offended. On behalf of middle children everywhere, I'm a healthy amount of dramatically offended by this generalization. Don't blame us for that grown toddler. This sounds like every sales job at Best Buy. There's always a manager's favorite, typically a cute girl, who gets away with everything. My brother is 10 years younger than me and is a teenager. I regularly drive him around to see his girlfriend and to his classes. Recently he's becoming very disrespectful and downright rude. He's only nice to me if I've made food or if he needs a ride, and in a way that pisses me off even more. The amount of times I have seriously considered pulling over and making him walk the last 10 miles home. You shouldn't drive him around. Just don't drive him around if he's disrespectful. Lol, just don't drive him. My dad didn't seem to take any interest in my life since I was 4. Then when my mum left him and I told him I was going to leave, he then proceeded to do everything to get me to live with him, buying me stuff, telling me mum isn't a fit parent, trying to get custody in court. I decided to live with him because I was too scared to start a new school midway through the year. He then dates this woman who was pretty much the catalyst in destroying their marriage and gets mad at me when I don't treat her like a mother. Mum is now trying to get custody and I would burn his house to the ground if it meant she would win. Just go and live with her. Refuse to go back. Your dad will have to go through the system to get you back. True, the cops might take you back to him once or maybe even twice, but ultimately if you are stubborn enough the cops will refuse to do your father's bidding and tell him to take it to court. Trust me on this. Just go to your mum now. Wife was a senior staff for a local science fiction convention. Not only was she an unpaid volunteer, she had to take a vacation day off work and pay for her hotel room and parking. On the morning that the convention started, she was setting up the first of the 3 rooms she was responsible for. Manual labor, moving tables, setting up shelves, and loading them with stuff. And somebody came in, took her ID badge off her desk, and brought it to the convention's lost and found. Convention lost and found lady told wife that lost badges have a $5 fee to get them back. Wife looked at the badge, looked at her, and said, keep it. I'm going home. Have a nice convention. Wife was about 25 feet down the hall when lost and found lady caught up to her and returned her badge. Wow. It was like they were trying to burn down their own village at that point. I'm not sure if it's legal to take things to the lost and found and charge for them to be returned. Don't leave us hanging. Did she keep walking or stay for the convention? Does she volunteer for them anymore? $5 fee to get them back. You literally have the badge right there. Didn't have to make a new one. There was no extra work or trouble caused by it. A member of the public returned it. Hope she walked away still. Surely it must have been clear to her what the convention was all about. In my opinion, once something like that happens, you don't come back, even if they fix the issue. Seems like a scam that was done on purpose and didn't expect to not pay up. In the volunteer organization I work with, we are specifically trained never to threaten or disparage a volunteer, only invite them into a position of less responsibility if we absolutely must. Because of this exact reason, they're unpaid and can walk away at any time. We have very little real leverage. Moved to a new town and started going to a new church when dad got cancer. Went to church and told the pastor to try and get advice. Pastor announced this to the convocation and also told everyone that some lady's horse was sick. Watched the entire convocation console this lady about her sick horse. The convocation was in tears about some sick horse while my dad was dying. No one said a word to my family. Never been to church since. Oh, that's awful. I'm from the UK, so many of us are not brought up in any religion. But my friend was starting to go to our local church and she just received news that her boss's new baby, a few days old, had unexpectedly died. Totally distraught, she went to church and had a word with the vicar asking, could the baby be mentioned in the please pray for section of the service? She was appalled when the first question asked, was the baby Christian? As if any other baby would not be worth mentioning in the service. When a clearly upset parishioner needed the support of the church at that time, she never went again. Sounds familiar to me. One of the reasons I stopped going years ago. No true compassion for anyone, unless it makes them look good socially. I'm sorry about your dad. I know there are no words, but I'm sorry. Working in public accounting as an auditor 65+ hour weeks, getting yelled at by clients for things that aren't your fault, getting chewed out by your manager for being over/under budgeted hours for a client, staying in hotels 5 days a week during busy season, eating poorly because you never had time to cook. Let's just say one of the best days of my life was when I got laid off from that place, which opened the door for a great opportunity with none of the issues listed above. Isn't being treated like a nuisance when requesting supporting documents just the best? Especially for doing walkthroughs. And when you realize the client didn't give everything needed, it's suddenly you who must be at fault, and it seems that both the client staff and your own in charges are ganging up on you. Also, the very idea of time budgets can duck right off. What do you do now, if I may ask? How many busy seasons did you go through? When I was an auditor there was a joke around our office. Being an auditor is like being a hooker. You do awful things for your clients. You spend a lot of time at the hotels, and each day you look into the mirror and think, I won't be doing it for the rest of my life. I actually have a story for this. So I was a senior that was friends with 4 juniors in a friend group. I wasn't exactly part of their group, but they seemed to enjoy my company. I was both the funny friend and the therapist friend. I helped them through their prom fiasco when they were at odds with each other. I made them food on occasion. At my graduation, they all said that we should get together as a group and do something fun and bonding before I left for college. One of them even says that she would plan a party for us all. A month passes by. I invite them all to see a movie. One by one, they flake during the week before the movie. I end up going to see it alone. Another month passes, and they've maintained radio silence. Over the next few months, I try to invite them to various events, and without fail, none of them end up being available. I ask them about doing something together, and no dice. All the while, I watch their Instagram posts of going to a lake and having a lake party or having a New Year's Eve party together. Now, here I am, typing this out on Reddit before going to bed and waking up tomorrow to go out of state for college. You'll get a lot of they don't deserve you, or you'll make tons of new friends, etc etc. But the truth is, some people are just ducked up. Nothing you could have done would have changed that. That happens sometimes in friendships, it happens at work, and it sometimes happens in intimate relationships. The best way to protect yourself is by remembering that your friendship is valuable. If you see red flags early, give them some space. If they keep reaching out to you, they may be worth giving some extra time to. Congrats on school, don't drink too much. Recently had something similar happen to me. I had a pretty sizable friend group, about 8 people, before I moved states a few years ago. I've kept in touch with most of them through direct messages and the like. I told them I was coming to visit for a week months in advance, and we all even discussed dates and plans as the date got closer. We even had the time set. In the last few days before the agreed upon date, everyone cancelled. I only had 2 people left the day before we planned to meet, and they cancelled last minute for bullcrap reasons. If they didn't want to hang out, why did we bother setting specific plans on a specific time and date? I had a lot of fun hanging out with the other friend I was staying with though. At least I know who to not make plans with next year. Duck M. They didn't deserve your friendship. Go to college and find the friends who will appreciate you. You know, duck those kids that say duck your friends. That crap hurts. As a person who went through that exact sort of situation, it's hard to forget the rejection of the people you first felt close to. It's like your first significant other. Nothing is quite as painful. Sure, you'll make good friends in college, and you'll end up being fine, but nothing hurts more than losing the trust of your teenage peers. You've probably never felt that level of kinship with anyone, and I'm sorry you feel abandoned. It's a formative thing that everyone has to go through and it sucks. Even your fair weather friends, whom I'm sure you envy, are feeling the same things about other people. It's just what teenagers do. I'd add some sort of encouraging message at the end here if you hadn't already gotten that in earlier comments. I just want to let you know that I felt that too. You're not alone. You'll meet many more people in your life that will treasure you. This group of flakes will be a distant memory as you move on to bigger and better things. You won't miss them. If you like the content and want to support the channel, like and subscribe right now, or you'll be running on fumes. My family doesn't know that I've hit it big in my industry. The industry they said that you'd need superhuman talent or a lot of luck to make it in. I'm getting my finances and the logistics in order, and next week I'm moving out unexpectedly. The guys I've hired to move what few possessions I'm taking with me arrive sometime in the morning and my flight leaves in the afternoon. I'll leave a letter explaining that I haven't harmed myself, but they are not likely to see me for a long time. I've got my own phone on my own plan, a plane ticket, and a place lined up on the other side of the country. My family won't take it well, since they thrive on control and conflict, and I expect the whole family to implode from finger pointing and drama whoring once I'm gone. Call the local police and/or sheriff's office and inform them of this. Don't give them any info about your new whereabouts, other than that it's intentionally far away. That way if your family tries to file a missing persons report, law enforcement won't act on it. This is something that abuse survivors are encouraged to do, and it sounds like your situation qualifies. Good for you. I hope everything works out well for you. That's pretty cool. What is your industry that your family disdains? Congratulations, and welcome to a new life of peace. I'm happy for you. I love to hear stories like these. Sounds like the people over at r/InsaneParents would love to hear your story. You should make a post there along with follow-on updates. I would be interested in hearing more about it. I'm sure you already thought of this, but make sure you take all important documentation and you get some sort of credit monitoring service. I could see vindictive family members doing scummy things in your name as soon as you're gone. It's good to hear that a lot of these people are now living better lives away from their villages. If you are in a village, hope you stay safe and well. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on the bell or you'll be running on fumes. See you in the next video.